Alright, hey guys, and welcome back, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. Now, today's video, it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be like a themed video. Like, I'm basically going through every single fish tank I own, showing you everything. Showing you the fish, the tank, every single fish tank setup, every single glass box I have that has fish in it, you're gonna see today. That's pretty much it. No need for more talking. Let's get into the first tank. Now, not trying to hurt my other fish tank's feelings, but I want to show you now my favorite tank I own, my saltwater aquarium. So I'm not quite sure when the last time I showed you guys my saltwater aquarium was, but here it is. It's a 55-gallon reef tank, teeming with life with coral, fish, literally everything. As you can see, coral are thriving. I do have a variety of fish in here. We have a large sailfin tang, a large fox face, my royal grama right here, as well as my 2 clownfish. There's also a variety of damsels in here, as well as 2 large anemones. Oh, and then there's this guy. You don't know about him. I'm gonna go ahead and throw you back to the footage where I went ahead and picked this guy up. Okay, so we're at the saltwater tank. I got the shrimp right here, and we're gonna start by acclimating him. I'm just gonna stick him in here to float, and then we'll go ahead and start drip acclimation. So we're done acclimating this guy. He went ahead and drip acclimated in here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and try to grab him and pick him up. Just like so, and then right into the tank. I'm gonna let him go out on this rock down here, and there he goes. He's on his rock, and he'll probably go ahead and find a cave or just cruise around the tank himself. So I've had this guy for a couple days. He's doing really good. He'll eat my shrimp right out of my hand. He is a cleaner shrimp, by the way, in case you were wondering. Anyway, the other stuff in this tank, like I mentioned, we have anemones. There's various types of coral, a starfish, as well as a large variety of snails that come out at nighttime. This tank is powered by a Current USA light, paired with a Current USA wave maker. It's on a sump system, meaning all the water overflows out of that little hole right there, and fresh, clean water comes out right there. Water overflows down into my sump, which you can't really see right now. It goes through a protein skimmer, various filter socks. It goes through some macroalgae on this side of the sump, and then it gets returned back to the aquarium through a J-bow pump. So that right there was a quick overview on the saltwater tank. Like I mentioned, literally my favorite tank, just because there's so much life and color and coral in it. I really love this tank. Moving right on over, we have my 36-gallon bow front goldfish tank. It's run by a canister filter with simple LED lighting. There are no live plants in here because they are goldfish. They tend to knock things down. As you can see, this bottom rock right here is supposed to be up there. They knocked it down. They also knocked that plant over literally every single day. This sand right here is just PETCO white sand. I get asked about it all the time, so I thought I'd go ahead and mention it. And then this tank is just stocked with some fancy goldfish. We have 4 of them in here, and they're all a pretty decent size. They're not huge, obviously, but they're also not super small. They're just doing their thing. They get fed omega-1 pellets, and they just do really good. They require very minimal maintenance. I have to scrub algae like once a year, it feels like. It's getting a little bit bad right now because I haven't done it in a long time, but all this tank gets is food and water changes, and they're happy goldfish. That's pretty much all there is to stay here. I do need to clean the canister filter soon. I do that about every 6 months, really no big deal. But overall, this tank is doing very, very well. Next, we have my turtle. Now this is Squirtle, which I don't really call him that. That was just a name my friends gave him. He is my red ears. He is doing so good. He eats pellets all day long, and he loves his lettuce. He gets about a small portion of pellets every single day, and then he gets lettuce occasionally, which he really, really loves. He also gets a mix of duckweed and some other fruit and vegetables all the time. But he is in this 40-gallon aquarium right here with these large river rocks on the bottom. A whole bunch of feeder minnows are in this tank, but he doesn't ever seem to eat these guys. I tried to put rosy red minnows in here, and he ate them. But these are just like feeder guppies, and he doesn't eat the feeder guppies, so that's why I keep him in here. Over here is his basking dock with the little thermometer. Up top, we have a UVB light, and there's a heat lamp right back there, so he has 2 types of lights. There's a Fluval 306 canister filter, as well as a heater, keeping the tank nice and clean and nice and warm as well. And then of course we have the little clip that his lettuce goes on. But he is super interactive. As you can see, he'll follow your finger. As you can see, he's always waiting because this is where he gets fed, from right here. So he always thinks he's getting food. But that's pretty much it for the turtle tank. Very simple setup because he's a turtle. He doesn't play that much. I do have this little golden turtle down here in this little hut thing, but he always knocks it over. And yeah, that's it for the turtle tank. We do have to clean up here, clean these water spots off. But other than that, that's it for this tank. Moving over just a little bit, we have my planted tank. Now you guys probably can't notice, but what I did was I turned the actual lighting cycle. Like, I turned the light brightness down a little bit. Basically, I thought this light was getting a little bit too bright for some of my plants. Like if you look in that reflection right there, that plant that's super flat and close to the ground should actually be growing leaves like up into the water column. But because the lighting was so strong, it was actually causing the plant to spread out. Also, I'm getting a ton of weird algae on these leaves and some more weird algae over here. Plants are just not doing too good, honestly. This tank, I used to love this tank. This tank was beautiful, but plants have died back. I think a fish or two died, and we're just not having a good time here anymore. The driftwood and the rocks are still beautiful, but I think I need to do something about the plants in here. I was fertilizing about once a week, but something clearly isn't happy with all this algae right here, as well as the plants not really doing too good as they used to. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but most of the fish, at least the fish that are still here for the most part, are all doing really well. Filter's doing good, heater I think is doing good. But that's pretty much it for this 36-gallon corner tank. Moving into another room, this is the 55-gallon freshwater tank. Colorful tropical aquarium. I also try to do live plants in here, but unfortunately my two large silver dollars right here eat all the live plants. We have that same white sand that was in the goldfish tank, some large rocks in here, and then an assortment of these glowfish tetras, as well as a large parrot cichlid. There's a cherry barb back there. Medium angelfish, there's a BABYSHARK, there's a Siamese algae eater, as well as a paradise fish right there at the top. This tank is doing great. It's powered by the AWAZA canister filter and the AWAZA heater that lives in the canister filter. So it's an overall very clean looking tank. I think it would look great if we had more plants in here, but that's not an option, so it is what it is. But overall, this tank is doing great. All the fish are really happy, all the fish are doing great, and this parrot cichlid is getting massive. But all the tetras and stuff are just doing fine, just living their happy little tetra lives. Now right down here, just below that tank you just saw, is the cherry shrimp tank. Now this is where I breed all my red cherry shrimp that I go ahead and sell. Quite profitable, to be honest. As you can see, there's a ton of them. That's literally all that's in this tank. There's like one bristlenose pleco in here. We got a sponge filter and a heater right there, and that's literally it. A whole bunch of places for the shrimp to hide, and I just power feed this tank with a whole bunch of food, and that equals a whole bunch of shrimp. Now actually really directly under this tank, I have a 10-gallon here, sponge filter, heater in the back. There's a few small guppies in here that were growing out, and then once again we got some cherry shrimp that are breeding in here. That's really all this tank is for cherry shrimp and to hold some guppies for the meantime. I actually need to go ahead and remove these guppies. As you can see, they're getting pretty big. You can't really see too well because there's so much algae, but they were just here holding basically because I didn't have another tank for them to go in at the time. Next up, moving into my bathroom, we have another one of my favorite aquariums. This is my fluval betta fish tank. If you did not watch the video of me actually rescuing this betta fish from a tiny bowl from Craigslist, you really need to check out that video. Anyway, this is a fluval aquarium. It's an all-in-one tank. It has a built-in filter back here, built-in light, tons of duckweed going on in the tank. We got some dragonstone and we got some stones down here, as well as a variety of live plants. And then of course we have my male betta, the one I got from Craigslist, which is the star of the show. He is absolutely beautiful and stunning in color. That's pretty much it for this tank. It's very, very simple. I plan to get a few more live plants in here. There's also a few narrate snails in there, but overall nothing crazy. I do want to get more plants though, but this guy is doing absolutely perfect. Swinging into another bedroom of the house, we have the guppy breeding tank. Now this is basically where I have a whole bunch of guppies. As you can see right up here, there's a few males, and they're super colorful. As you can see, there's a female right there, there's a few males, and they're just a very colorful strain of guppies that I have in here. And as you can see, they're making tons of babies. They probably don't show up very well on camera, but there are a whole bunch of them. That's why there's so many plants in this tank. It's to give the babies a whole bunch of places to hide. There's also a few cherry shrimp in here, which are doing the same thing as they're doing in my other cherry shrimp tank. They're just breeding. These ones are a little bit bigger than the other ones, so these ones kind of sell first before I start grabbing them from the other tank, just because these are a lot bigger. We do have some live plants in here, some Anubias and some Java Fern, which is also doing amazing. Plants in this tank do really, really good, which I really like, so I have a couple plants in here just growing out. Now you can't really see it right now, but there is a guppy up at the top of the water, which looks like it has some fungus on its fins. And so what that basically means is that I'm gonna treat this tank with some salt. Now I can't put too much salt in because of the live plants, but with a low dosage of salt, it really helps cure a variety of fish diseases, with fungus being one of them. Salt is a great broad kind of aquarium treatment. All you do is put a little bit of aquarium salt. You have to be careful if you have aquarium plants. That's why you have to do it in low doses. But aquarium salt really works wonders, so I'm gonna get some of that in very soon. And then we just have a simple hang on the back filter with a sponge and a heater. Nothing crazy in this tank. I believe it's like a 38-gallon tank, maybe 28, I don't know. But it's a tall tank rather than a long tank, so it fits his spot perfect. So I just went ahead and dosed that aquarium salt. Now actually what I'm going to do is just remove all of these live plants, move them to a different tank for a couple days, do a water change, and then they'll go back in this tank. Last but not least, for the inside aquariums, I have this 15-gallon column tank in our kitchen. It houses an angelfish and a rainbow shark. Those two fish will be moved into the 55-gallon very soon, depending on how fast they grow. Then we also have some assorted tetras and swordtail. We have some nice plants in here, a large Java fern and some anubias and a moss ball down there at the bottom. Overall, a nice, pretty clean tank. We do need to go ahead and top off the water, but not much to update here. The last time we added a fish to this tank was that rainbow shark. I went ahead and made a video about it. Go ahead and check it out if you want to see more of this aquarium. Now that we're done with some inside stuff, we can move outside. This is my 900 to 1,000 gallon koi pond. You've probably seen this before. It's run by AWAZE equipment. We got an AWAZE skimmer, pump, waterfall, everything. It's stocked with a whole bunch of colorful koi and goldfish. There's some minnows in there as well. Got some lily pads, these large elephant ear plants right here, and there was water lettuce in here, but it just keeps getting eaten by the ducks. But there's some left in here, and then there's a dying pothos plant in the corner. This pond is doing very, very well. We had a large algae outbreak, but that has seemed to go ahead and remedy itself. As you can see, the sides of the pond are basically like clean. Like they're so crystal clear, so clean. It's doing great. I use new algae in this pond. That is the product I use to keep it algae free. And besides the koi, there's also a large pleco in here, but he's probably hiding right now because he only comes out at night. Moving to the front yard, I have my dismantled mini pond, I guess you could say. There's still a whole bunch of fish in here. They're all baby platies, as you can see. I had the water level down so low because squirrels like to drink this water. It evaporates really fast. Birds come here, squirrels come here, and raccoons come here. So all the big fish I put in here, unfortunately, have gotten eaten by raccoons. But the small fish, like the platies, there's a whole bunch of platies in here. They are all still here. I'll go ahead and see if I can move some of these plants around to find them. And there are a whole bunch of baby platies as well. I don't know if you can see it because they blend in with the rocks very, very well. But there's a whole bunch of baby platies. And that's pretty much all this is there's baby platies in here. I'm gonna clean it out very soon and move all the platies to a tank. As you can see, there's a group of them scurrying down there. But that's pretty much it. This pond is honestly just gonna be dismantled because creatures just keep getting into it. But the fish don't really seem to mind. All the platies are still happy in there. Then last but not least, right past the ducks, I have this 110-gallon stock tub, which you can't really see, but it's also full of baby platies. That's pretty much it for everything outside. As you can see, there's some platies right there. You probably can't see it on camera actually, but that's it for this stuff outside. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing all of my aquariums. That is gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed any one of these tanks, comment down below what your favorite one was, and don't forget to leave a like on this video. Goodbye.